Welcome! My name's Kathy A, and today I thought I would create a basic eye look step by step for those of you who may not be familiar with makeup. It's been a long time, or maybe you never used to wear makeup and finally decide you want to try it. Very, very easy step by step on a basic eye, thusly. So hang in there, follow along with me, and I'll see you at the end. Okay, well, let's begin. Quick cup of coffee. The first thing is to make sure your eye is properly prepped, and I think that that is something that we kind of can let go. Make sure it's completely cleansed and moisturized, and I also like to put a primer on, and primer is just a way to help your eyeshadow last longer, and also to smooth out and maybe cover some of the discoloration. So there's a couple of choices here. This one is from Ulta, and this is the Nude eyeshadow primer. It's very inexpensive. And then this one is COVERGIRL Lid Lock. I'll put one on one side and one on the other. And also too, before you even begin, make sure that there's no stray hairs, that your eyes are clean. I use a Q-tip in my eye, one on one side, turn it around, do the other side, get the eye yuck out. And I never use one Q-tip on both sides. I like to use one side, turn it around, and then use the other side so it's not any contamination. So I'm just going to just put a couple of little stripes there and blend it in with my ring finger. And ring fingers have the least amount of pressure, which is good. And it's just a little bit, you don't need too much. And that is the COVERGIRL Lid Lock. And on this side, we're going to use the Ulta. Just going to put a little dot. You don't need much, because you just want to make a thin little layer. Again, the ring finger. And the Ulta one has a little bit of pigmentation to it for light coverage. It's not going to cover major veins or anything like that. Okay. And I have to make sure that there's not too much here in that inner corner, because that can look very cracked on older eyes. So I'm just going to make sure it's out of there. Give that a chance to settle up. So let's do the brows first while our primer is setting up, and I usually like to give it a few minutes. Now, Milani has this great little set with powder eyeshadows, or you can use the EYELURE Pencil, which is my favorite, because it has a great shade of blonde. And then we'll cover it up with a brow mascara, and that is from Essence, and that's called Blondie Brows, I believe. So we'll start off with the pencil. Always make sure my pencils are clean and sharp. I usually take it and just make what I call the gateway line on each side, and it's just the very tip of my nose up. And then I just make lines that go up from there. And then I will fill in here. And you don't want to make them too dark, so I always like to go like the shade of your brow or slightly lighter. I don't like to go too dark because it can really look harsh. And with blondes we have a hard time because sometimes the lighter shades look golden. This is a really nice blonde shade from EYELURE. It's perfect. Now the other side is what they call a spoolie. I'm just going to brush up, up and over. And you will need to go into your 8x mirror or 5x mirror, whatever one you have, and then just smooth it out with your finger. Anything you see that's not quite right. I'm going to go in with the powder. Now you could just use the pencil on its own. That's no problem at all. I think the powder is kind of neat. This little kit from Milani comes with hair tweezers, a little bit of a brow powder pen brush. And I'm just going to take that in the lighter shade, and I'm just going to kind of go over what I've already done. And they give you another shade as well if you want to maybe make the second half a little darker. I like lightness towards the base. And they also include a highlighter shade, which you can put underneath the brow. I don't like to put too much under the brow, but right at the very arch, I just put a tiny little print just under the arch. This is a cute kit, and you can actually use these as eyeshadows as well. They are eye safe. Now, what do you do with a brow mascara? That is really neat for filling in gray hair, covering the little hairs that are white and gray and making them blonde, so you can appear to have more brow hair than you do. Now, it wasn't the style back in the 70s to have large, thick brows, and we would probably pluck something like this to death because it was way too big. But the way it frames your eyes, you really need something that's at least this, and this isn't particularly thick. I feel this is what they call the lady style lash, and I think that this is a perfect kind for me anyway. It's not too over the top. They're not twins because nobody has twins. So this is the Ulta Essence. This is the Essence Brow Mascara, brow tint. Okay, I didn't mention before, but if you're going to be using glitter on your eyes at all, this is a NYX glitter glue, so that you would put down like the you put it down right where you're going to put the glitter first, just tap it into your eye, and then you would tap the glitter over the top of that, and that holds the glitter in place. And it's very, very helpful if you ever do have a big event where you're going to wear some glitter. Alright, so now I like to start with a base shade. And for a basic eye, you need 3 colors, and these are the colors I'm going to show you. You need this light matte, which means not shiny or shimmery at all, a light shade, a medium shade, and a dark shade. You need those 3 shades, and they have to be matte. And you can get a light shade like this, a light kind of grayish shade, and a dark charcoal gray if you want more of a cool tone look. But this is the basic 3 colors you're going to need. So I'm going to start with that. And you can find them in a variety of different palettes. This is the Maybelline Matte Bar, which is fairly new. So you can see you've got your light shade, your medium shade, and your dark shade. So, and then these other shades are kind of bonus shades. But as long as you have those 3 shades, you're going to be able to make a good look from any palette. Now this tiny little one from MUA, this is the same. You've got a light, a medium, and a dark. So you've got, and this is cute because you can travel with this. You can probably fit this in your wallet. It's so thin. So you can still get a basic eye out of that. For Wet n Wild, this is a great one. This is called Nude Awakening. Now I have a ton of very expensive palettes, but I tell you, when it comes to the basic colors, these work just as well, and Wet n Wild is especially good. Here's your light shade, your medium shade, and your dark shade. This is a terrific palette, and it's what, around $5 or $6 maybe? If you're in England, number 7, this is great. This is the Major Matte palette for number 7. You can also find this in, I believe, Walgreens and on Amazon. And that one, again, you've got your light, your medium, and your dark. LA Girl. They have some really nice makeup. I like some of their lip products very much. And their so this is from LA Girl. Again, you've got kind of your light shade, and you've got your medium shade, and then your dark shade, and then you've got all these kind of bonus shades as well. We're going to use the main 3 shades, and then we're going to maybe add a couple just for making it pretty. So now this is from CCOLOR, and this is the Around the World palette. This is a drugstore price duplicate, or yeah, a dupe they call it, for the Born to Run palette from Urban Decay. Now this has a lot of colors in it, but you've got your basic, and then you've got kind of a medium color right here or right here, and then you've got a dark shade. So this has a little bit of everything in it, and we're going to take a couple of the shimmer shades later on to jazz up our basic eye. So with so many, I mean there's many more, but you basically get the idea. You want those 3 colors. Those are the 3 important ones. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the matte bar from Maybelline, because it's fairly new and it's just come out. And I'm going to use the number 7 Major Matte on the other side. Now brushes. My favorite brand of brushes, high-end or low-end, is Real Techniques. I think they have a great assortment. It's high quality. I wash my brushes after every use, so they get a lot of hard handling. So, and they come out really well. So I really like this. Now you want something for blending, and then these are like shadow brushes. So these are basic brushes, so I'm going to use one of these to put the light shade on first. And in the Maybelline palette, I'm just going to put this one on. It's got a pale pink kind of look to it. Just going right there. And I'm going to put that all over my lid, right up to the brow. Now there's no shimmer to this, it is just matte or flat paint. Think of flat paint and satin paint, how different they are. This is a flat color. On the other side, we're going into the number 7. And I'm going to use a little bit of this and this together to sort of look the same. It's very pigmented actually. Now there's different quality levels to drugstore makeup, and this is usually where you can figure it out. The quality of the light matte shade, if it's too sheer, it doesn't help you out at all. So you want to get something that has a good quality matte shade in it, because those are the hardest to formulate. And if they get that right, it probably got some good quality shades. So I just did that on that side and this one on this side. Now we're going to go into the crease shade, as we call it, and that's just above where the eye's moving. There's just above, there's like a bone there. You want to go just above the bone. And I use a different kind of brush for that. You can use the same brush for everything, but this makes things easier. Again, we have Real Techniques. This is one of their metallics, or this is one of their basic crease brushes. It's just a slightly longer brush on there. And I'm just going to dip that into the medium shade here. And I'm just going to draw a straight line across and blend it into, with a windshield wiper motion, blend it in. And then I'm just going to take my ring finger and keep it from the middle. I like to keep lightness in the middle. I'm going to go back in, and we're just going to build it up. And this is a nice shade because it's not too strong. It's just subtle difference. You can see already the difference. It's giving me the optical illusion of depth and dimension to my eye. So it's already doing something for me. And I think that's the biggest mistake that people make that haven't done makeup in a while, is we used to just throw it on and go. And we never used to think about blending it out. And by blending it out, you're just evening it out on the edges so it shears out a little bit. And now we're going to go into the medium shade here on this side. I think I mixed up my sides, but it doesn't matter because we're getting the same look from each one. Now some of these shades, these middle shades, can be slightly warm toned or slightly cool toned, grayish toned or tannish toned. Depending on your own coloring, you'll find out from trial and error which one looks the best on you. But I like to go with a neutral or a cool tone most of the time. The warm tones were very popular last year and I found them very irritating. Everybody had the orange eye, and I don't think orange is the most flattering color, especially for older folks. Now underneath, if you get little specks of the eyeshadow, they call that fallout. You're going to want to brush that away, or you can use a cotton pad and just wipe it away. Some people like to put a piece of tape here and then work with that, but I don't fuss with things like that. So use that shade again. And it's really good to do this in a mirror that's regular and then turn it around and use a 8x mirror, which is extremely, woo, hello. And just take comfort in the fact that nobody will ever be that close to you. Just going to put a little bit more on. So you got the idea, right? Okay, then we're going to go into the darker shade. And with this one, the darker shade is right here, so we're going to put that on. And I'm just going to go on the last third of my eye. And this particular palette, it's very subtle, so you can build it up, which I like because then you don't get way too much to have to work with. But I'm just going right here and down, just making a round circle, a little round circle, and then I'm blending up into that crease color, that stripe we just made. Okay, we have some below here. It's okay if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. Just take a little of this and go up. You can use your finger to blend. And we're going to go into the matte bar again. I'm going to go into this shade, this dark shade here. I'm just going to tap it and make a little circle. And then we've got to smear it out and blend it out. And that's an important step. You don't want to fudge on the smearing out part. You have to. You can go back into your crease color, that shade in the middle. Just go right back into it and meet the darkness. And you can go back with your light color and go back with your light color here. So now what I like to do is I like to take a color to go along the edge. And they call that, a lot of times they'll call that a transition color, or, and I'm just going to stick that on there. And it really just kind of blends between the two shades. It blends between the upper pale and the dark line. Kind of what they call a transition color. And you can use like an orange or a kind of a red color to get a slightly different look. And I just do it right here, right along the edge. going to take some of this light color right here. And in the major matte, you can do that right up here. We'll tone down anything that's uneven looking. Now for underneath the eye, you can use a pencil, and PIXI makes a great pencil, Jordana makes a great pencil. I'll show you the Jordana one first. That's a dark pencil. That makes a very dark thing. I go from the center out just a little bit along the lash line. And then I take my ring finger and I just smoosh it out a little bit. They also call that smoking it out. Just the outer half. And then from the inside corner, just about 1/3 of the way in, and I smoke it again with my finger. Or you can use a little brush. Again, Real Techniques has some great brushes for this. You can smoke it out with that. Or a brow brush, you can do it with that. Just so it's not a harsh line. I do that to the other side, close to the lash line as possible. Just down 1/3, and then we're going to smoke it out with either a brush or our finger. Just smearing it out a little bit so it's not a harsh line. Don't want any straight lines on your eyes. Now this one is a kind of a copper shade. Makes it very pretty. I hope you can see it, but it's got a shimmer to it. And you can go underneath the eye with that, just underneath the center, and smear it out. And you can use one of these little crew cut liners to do it. Some people like to use a light shade on the inside. You can do that with your palette. Let's use the LA. And here's a nice color here. It's kind of a shimmery color. I'll just show you. It's a shimmery taupey color. Just going to use a little of that right underneath. So those of you who feel the need to have a black eyeliner will be appeased. And then a little bit of the white right down in here will add a little bit of brightness. What I'm going to do is take this palette, which is that fake one for Born to Run, and I'm just going to take a little bit of a color, maybe some of this green. And I'm just going to tap it in the center of my eye. Just tap it a little bit. Not a lot, just a little. And I have now added a little bit of oomph to my eye. And then you can take maybe this gold and go towards the center. This is where you can have fun, because after you've done your basic eye, you can add other things to make it pretty. So now the magic will happen when you use mascara. And we actually want to prep our lashes, make sure they're clean and they're free from the mascara you wore yesterday. Make sure they're clean. And I like to use these eyelash curlers. Now this one is kind of an interesting one. It's a flat guillotine type of lash curler. You push down on this part and this moves up and you get a curled lash that way. Just put it on your lashes. I count to 10 basically. release and pull it away. And the other kind of eyelash curler, of course, is this basic kind. You can see. Okay. Well, I have a lower lash mascara that I like to use, and actually it works really well on your upper lashes. This is the Lash Discovery from Maybelline. I'm just going to get up to my 8x mirror, and I'm just going to go in. A tiny little brush, so it does really well with finding all the lashes. And the mascara really makes the eye look. So that's one side, and that's with this. The other side, I'm going to use the other Maybelline mascara I have. This is the MegaPlush Volume. It has a slightly different brush head to it. Just a different type of brush. Took a little bit longer to get the same look as I did on this side with this one. I really like this mascara, and I think it's not talked about very often because it's not the newest, greatest, brightest star on the block, but I think it's one of the best mascaras that Maybelline has. And it works on upper and lower lashes. It's not just a lower lash mascara as everybody's been using it for. It reminds me a lot of IT Cosmetics Tightline mascara. So between the two of these, this makes kind of a fluffier lash, and this is more of a, I would say, separated lash. Best tool in the beauty chest. And I'm going to go into my 8x mirror. I'm just going to look and see where there's any kind of shadow fallout or mascara dings. And this is, you really need to use a magnifying mirror when you're doing makeup because you don't see things like you used to. When you were in your 20s and 30s, you had that sharp vision. Okay. And again, take comfort in knowing that nobody will ever be as close to you as your 8x mirror. So, I shall be right back with you. I'm going to go a little close to the camera so you can see the eye look. So there you have it. This is the completed look. I think it looks very pretty, and I think you can glam it up with shimmer or you know, glitter, anything else. Don't be afraid of makeup. It's a lot of fun to play with, and you're never too old to put your best foot forward. So I hope everyone is having a wonderful week and have a beautiful day. Take care. Toodles.